What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the April 23rd pay-per-view from Impact Wrestling Rebellion. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. This was a very fun, solid pay-per-view. There's a few things I wish they would have switched around that would have made it a little bit more intriguing, but other than that, this was a very good pay-per-view. It added on to the already interesting and intriguing storylines that they have going on so far in Impact Wrestling. But man, I enjoyed it. It was an adventure to watch this pay-per-view for a lot of reasons. Let me know if you guys had any issues with the stream or what have you. Comment below. Let me know. I had a slight issue with that and delayed me from producing this review earlier than when I'm recording it. Right now, when I'm recording it, it is around 2 in the morning Chicago time. So yes, I am recording this at 2 in the morning Chicago time, which normally this review on a Saturday, Sunday, or even a regular pay-per-view or TV show, this probably would have been recorded around 11:30. So actually earlier than 10:30 or something like that. So that's why I had to rewatch it again to get everything down. But man, this was a pretty solid pay-per-view. In the countdown, you had Eddie Edwards and Chris Bay. Of course, it was supposed to be Eddie Edwards versus Jonathan Gresham, but because of a concussion protocol, he wasn't able to make it. So you had Eddie Edwards and Chris Bay. This was a decent match. I'm surprised that Chris Bay lost. One thing that I'm noticing about Bullet Club here in Impact Wrestling lately is that they've been losing a lot of matches. Jay White, of course, he's been very vocal and very just adamant as far as, it's still our era and we're dominant in this, but they haven't been dominant. They've been losing a lot. And it just makes you wonder, okay, where is this going to go in regards to the New Japan AEW show, Bullet Club? Is there going to be a kind of like a house cleaning of Bullet Club members where it's going to go back to the basics? I don't know. Is that possible? But yeah, this was a pretty solid match. Then you had the Inspiration versus the Influence. Again, another solid match. Then we get to the opening match, and that's something about this card that I noticed. It really, the Jay White, Chris Sabin, Macklin match, it opened the show. Really solid match. Macklin, he came out with this face paint that was like the Punisher, which was ooh, that's different and interesting. I hope he keeps it because it really makes him unique and different. It sets him apart. Different from what he's already been portrayed as in Impact Wrestling and also when he was in WWE. So that was a really cool thing. You had there was a spot where Chris Sabin, he dove onto Macklin, and it looked like his back of his head hit the guardrail. It was ooh, that didn't look good. But man, this was a fun match. I mean, the spots that stood out to me was, of course, all three of these guys got their offense in. Jay White, he performed the Blade Buster on Sabin, of course, kicked out. Macklin did a nasty rock bottom on Jay White. He kicked out. Then there was a cradle shock on Jay White from Chris Sabin, And Chris Sabin, he's on the ground groggy, and Steve Macklin just comes in from outside the ring, rolls him up 1, 2, 3. Steve Macklin wins. That was a surprise. It does keep Jay White strong because he didn't take the pin. But again, like I mentioned before, like all these Bullet Club members are losing. And hint, hint, the other members don't win either. So it's like, okay, where is this going to go? But no, that was a really solid opening match. I do wish they would have had this match later in the card and probably would have started with the X Division match. It was just the layout of the matches like should have been a little bit different. Or honestly, they should have started the night with the 8-man or the 8-team elimination match, because that was pretty fun, and that would have been cool to start that off with to get a lot of energy, and then boom. But the way they had it and the way they placed the match, it was like we get a backstage segment with Josh Alexander with his wife and his son. He's going to teach Moose a lesson. Scott D'Amore comes in and he's like, Moose is just using, he's trying to use your family against you to get in your head. So that's just building up for the main event. Then we get the match between Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie for the AAA Reina de Reigns Championship. This was a pretty cool, really cool match. Check this match out. They've always had great chemistry, and seems like they didn't lose a step. Before the match, you do get a video package. Taya Valkyrie, she's basically breaking down that, hey, this title has decades of tradition, and I want to reclaim it. Perazza reminds her, like, hey, I'm the one that defeated you, that sent you away from Impact Wrestling. Pretty cool thing like there. The crowd was chanting La Vida Loca during the match. They were really behind Taya Valkyrie in this match. There was a Russian leg sweep spot outside on the ring, outside by the apron. Deonna Purrazzo performed that move on Taya Valkyrie. That looked really like she laid that in. That Russian leg sweep looked nasty. Like, man. Then, of course, Taya Valkyrie, she performed the Road to Valia finisher. 1, 2, 3. She is the new AAA Reina de Reigns champion. Now, Deonna Purrazzo only has the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. For how long, we don't know. Mercedes Martinez is the interim Ring of Honor champion right now. We'll see what happens with that, and Ring of Honor being, whether it's a TV deal or what have you. So Deonna Purrazzo only has one title right now. Then we get a backstage segment of Tasha Steelz basically talking about her match with Rosemary. She had this Scar like outfit, Scar from the Lion King. She had a little bit of makeup like Scar had the scar on one eye. She had like a line painted on and everything. Really cool. But basically hyping up the match. Then we get this was a fun match. The Ultimate X, or the X Division triple threat match between Mike Bailey, Ace Austin, and Trey Miguel. This was your typical X Division match. Most of the X Division matches are always fast. This goes back to the inception of the X Division, like very fast counter moves. You'll find spots of each guy getting their offense in, and 2-on-1 with different variations. But man, this was a really good match. I really, really enjoy Mike Bailey. Man, that guy is quick, athletic. He does some moves that's like, whoa, that's his agility and his speed in this match was really showcased. There was a nice moonsault that Mike Bailey did on the top turnbuckle onto Austin and Trey Miguel. There was a cutter on from the top rope onto the rope by Mike Bailey, and then there was another top rope moonsault that was freaking amazing. But man, you got to check this match out. But in the end, Ace Austin wins. Ace Austin is the new X Division champion. He is a 3-time winner, I believe so. Yes, he is a 3-time winner. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. You already have Ty Valkyrie being the Reign of the Reigns champion. You have Trey Miguel losing the title, and now you have Ace Austin, who is the new X Division champion. I'm looking forward to. With Impact Wrestling, lately we've had a lot of matches between Trey Miguel and Ace Austin, and I'm looking forward to the matchups that eventually we're gonna have between Ace Austin and Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey, man, that guy can do some moves. If this was 2004 when you had that deep Ultimate X or the X Division division with AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, Petey Williams, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. Trying to think of who else was in that division. Chris Sabin, like when you had the depth in that division, like Mike Bailey would fit perfectly in that division. That's how good he is. He's smooth. His move, it's not sloppy. It's just very he's like agile like a cat. And it was so fun. But yeah, watch this match. This was a really fun match. From there, we get a backstage segment with Honor No More. The line in this promo, and this comes from Matt Taven. We're going to force them by hand to put the crown on the kingdom. And if you guys don't know the kingdom or what it was, basically the kingdom was Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Adam Cole, baby. That was a cool line. I was like, yo, that's pretty dope. I like that line. Then, after that, we get a match between Jonah and Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, man, the main event was really good between Josh Alexander and Moose. But for me, I would say this Jonah Tomohiro Ishii match is probably the match of the night. Just because of the agility Jonah has, the power, the speed. Tomohiro Ishii, just the grit, the physicality he uses, and the physicality that Jonah used in this match. The counters, there was a lot of spots of it was just two bulls going against each other. And the way this match was laid out was so fun, entertaining, and really throughout the match, you didn't know who was going to win. You kind of felt like, okay, it's Impact. Jonah's going to win. Like you kind of, you would assume okay, he's going to win. So you would be more in favor of Jonah going into the match. But as the match went on, you're just like, man, I don't know who's going to win this match. And I don't know if I want this match to end, but this is so fun to watch. Man, there was things that stood out to me with this match was it was a very physical match. A lot of chops and forearms. It was basically ground and pound. There was a spot where they were trading forearms, and if you guys know the New Japan style and Ishii style, if you've seen his matches with Minoru Suzuki, those forearms, he lays them in. You had a spot where they were trading chops in the corner, which they didn't hold back. You had Jonah. There was one spot where Jonah was literally, he had Ishii on his shoulders and he was squatting with him, which was like, yo, like Ishii isn't a small guy by any stretch of the matter, and he was doing squats. It was like, yo, this dude's strong. Um, there was a spot where Ishii threw Jonah against the rope, and his momentum came back to Ishii, where Ishii was able to do a belly to belly, belly to back suplex, which looked really cool. Like it was just perfect, where his momentum just came and boom, snap. It was like wow. I mean, there was other spots where they were just clotheslining the hell out of each other. Uh, certain times they were clotheslining each other and nothing, no budging. Other times they'd clothesline and knocking each other's heads off. Jonah attempted a spear, and then there was a brainbuster on Jonah. Ishii pins him. 1, 2, 3. Tomohiro Ishii beats Jonah in this really, really, really good match. Wherever you can find this match, please go watch this match. This is a fun match. For me personally, like I said, this was the match of the night for me because of the physicality, the size of both these guys, the agility, the physicality, the forearms, the chops, the no selling, the whole nine. You got to watch this match, man. This was a really fun match from these guys, and man, they laid it in. I'm still, after the match, I was just wondering, like, okay, where does this go with Jonah? Because he's had some stuff with PCO, and now he's with, he's had this match with Ishii. Like, where is Jonah gonna go in Impact Wrestling? What's his next feud? Which is really interesting because, even when Jonah was in NXT and he was feuding with, when he had the North American title, and one of my favorite matches was him and I think it was Damian Priest. That was a really cool match. I've always enjoyed his work, so it's like, okay, what's the next thing for Jonah in Impact Wrestling? Or is there, it's more so what's next for Jonah in New Japan? So that's the thing with him. But man, this was a really good match. It was the match of the night. I enjoyed it. Then we go to the 8-team elimination match for the Impact Tag Team Championships. This was an interesting layout. Again, like I said, this match, the way it was laid out and the way it ended, honestly, this should have started off the night. More so because of the variety of teams that you had. The spots that occurred in this match would have been dope to start the pay-per-view off and just get the fans like, whoa. Not to take anything away from Jay White, Chris Sabin, and Steve Macklin, but it would have been, actually, that's what should have happened. They should have switched this match with the Jay White, Chris Sabin, and Steve Macklin match. Like, they should have switched it. But it is what it is. So the way it was two teams come out, and whoever gets eliminated, the next team comes in, which is a really cool concept. I wish more companies would do this. Hint, hint, AEW, because you have a deep tag team division. That would be pretty dope to do on a Rampage. So you start off with the major players, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, and they're waiting who their opponents are. And it's Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey. And of course, both Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey have history with Matt Cardona and Brian Myers and Chelsea Green. Spots that stood out in this portion of this match. Chelsea Green was distracting. She loboed W. Morrissey. He had a cup. Then there was the she tried to run away. Jordan Grace hit her, threw her to W. Morrissey. W. Morrissey powerbombed Chelsea Green through the freaking table. That was freaking crazy. And that came at the end of the pinfall because of Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. Of course, they know how to cheat. They cheated their way. So this, all this happened after they got pinned. That I did not anticipate Chelsea Green getting powerbombed by W. Morrissey. Like, again, this is why I said, like, this match should have started the night, because if, like, that spot happened within, man, maybe 4 or 5 minutes into the match. So if you saw the pay-per-view, and if you haven't, you'll see what I'm saying. Like, if you have that spot 5 minutes into the pay-per-view, the crowd's going to go like, whoa, wait a minute. Did W. Morrissey just, wait, what? And it would have been good to have this match in the beginning, because that spot would have had a lot of people tweeting about it on Twitter. And it would have done some good stuff on social media instead of having it later in the event where, oh, wow, she, did this. And, oh, my God, you already had all this stuff going on. And they were following Ishii and Jonah, which was a great match in itself. So it's like, it kind of like, yeah, it's good, but it would have been more effective to have it in front of it, where Ishii and Jonah would have built on it, instead of having Ishii and Jonah doing their stuff and you're trying to follow it up. And just really didn't click. From there, we get the major players and the Good Brothers. So mind you, both these guys are just laid out. W. Morrissey double choke slammed him and everything. The Good Brothers come in. They hit the Magic Killer. 1, 2, 3. They move on in this elimination match. From there, we get Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice. They try to get some offense in. They don't. Anderson and Gallows hit another Magic Killer. They win. So they move on. Then we get the Good Brothers, and they're waiting for their next opponents, and it's Willie Mack and Rick Swann. This is where, after all the shenanigans that you had in the first 3 matches, now you get somewhat of a wrestling match in this 8-team tag team knockouts Impact Wrestling championship match. This is where it really kicked in, where it was a wrestling match. What I liked about this spot was there was a double moonsault or actually a double dive through the rope. No, it was a double moonsault over the top rope by Rick Swann and Willie Mack. Man, Willie Mack is a very agile dude. I did not realize that, but maybe it's because I haven't seen him in a while, but it was like, this dude's agile. He can move. So you had that. Dot Gallows, there was a spot where he knocked Willie Mack off the apron, and like his knee like caught the rope. Rick Swann got kicked out. Then Gallows and Anderson performed another Magic Killer. They win, so they move on. And then this is where things gets interesting. They're waiting for their next opponents, and out comes Vincent and Kenny King. And the announcer's like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Not the case. So Gallows and Anderson, they're like, what's going on here? Bennett and Matt Taven attack Gallows and Anderson from behind. It's like, okay, I kind of saw that coming, but that's pretty cool, because Honor No More has been a very strong heel faction and Impact Wrestling. Very strong. Stronger than the Bullet Club, which is crazy because it was on Impact Wrestling where Jay White and the Bullet Club, or Jay White, Chris Bay, kicked God, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa out of the Bullet Club. And brought in Gallows and Anderson. So it's really interesting how Honor No More is the more stronger heel faction than Bullet Club, which is, I don't know, where is this going to go? That's what's pretty interesting about it. So you get that Maria, while all this is going on, this melee between Gallows, Anderson, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Kenny King, Vincent. Of course, the referee's trying to get Vincent and Kenny King to go to the back. Maria Kanellis is distracting. Matt Taven covers Carl Anderson. The ref counts 1, 2, 3. While he's counting 1, 2, 3, Maria Kanellis is holding Matt Taven's leg on the rope. So Carl Anderson could not kick out. They win. Honor No More. So the Good Brothers are gone. That's going to be interesting. Honestly, the Honor No More versus Bullet Club is probably the most interesting thing about Impact Wrestling. This is going to be fun where this goes. One, because Bullet Club is a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And two, Honor No More keeps talking about how Ring of Honor is a dead promotion when actually Tony Khan bought it, and it's probably going to be, excuse me guys, going to be coming back. So there's just, it's interesting things how what's being said now, where it's going to be in 3 months, which is, if you're a wrestling fan, it's like, I can't wait for this. Then we get Tasha Steelz versus Rosemary with Savannah Evans and Havoc at ringside. The match starts off where Tasha Steelz, she baits Havoc into hitting her. The ref sees it. He throws Havoc to the back. So now you have Savannah Evans with Tasha Steelz, and Rosemary's by herself. So it's pretty much 2-on-1 basically. If you've watched Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans, it's basically 2-on-1. There's a point in the match where Tasha Steelz performs Trish Stratus's finishing move. Forgive me, guys. My nose is itching. There we go. Then there's a point where Savannah Evans distracts the ref. Tasha Steelz, she tries to get the Knockouts Championship to hit Rosemary. The ref stops her, grabs the belt. While he's doing that, Savannah Evans kicks the crap out of Rosemary. Savannah Evans tries to go for the pin. 1, 2. Rosemary kicks out. Then there's another spot where Savannah Evans tries to distract Rosemary again. Rosemary throws or spits the green mist. While she does that, she turns around. Tasha Steelz performs the cutter. 1, 2, 3. Tasha Steelz retains the Knockouts Championship. Knockouts division is pretty interesting with Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. So it's going to be interesting who is going to be the one to dethrone Tasha Steelz. They just brought in Giselle Shaw. Of course, Lady Frost and her have a feud. Where's Jordan Grace fit? They really haven't done... They haven't elevated Masha Slamovich yet. I'm interested to see where that goes. Maybe it's her that gets elevated. But it's interesting, what's going on in that Knockouts division with Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans at the top. Then we get to the main event. It's Moose versus Josh Alexander. Early on, this match started a little bit slow, but once it got to the halfway point and beyond that, this was a fun match. The spots that stood out to me was the Styles Clash that Josh Alexander performed on Moose, where he did it, and then right after he performed it, he turned it into an ankle lock, which I don't think I've seen that in a while. Maybe Kurt Angle did it with AJ Styles when he was in TNA. It's been a while. But man, that was such a cool spot because it was so smooth how he did it. He lands right by his ankle, and then he just snaps it on. It's like, yo, that is dope. Then there was a few spots where Moose, he exposed the turnbuckles, and of course he threw Josh Alexander into there, and then of course he got thrown into the turnbuckles. Then he performed the buckle bomb. There was a point where he tried to spear, and Josh Alexander blocked it. 1, 2, 3. Josh Alexander is the new Impact Wrestling, I was going to say TNA, Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. It's long overdue. This is going to be interesting with this run that Josh Alexander is going to go on as World Champion. I don't feel it's going to be underwhelming because he's such a solid wrestler. This might be similar to Kurt Angle's run. Of course, Josh Alexander isn't highly profiled like Kurt Angle, but I do think his match quality will be somewhat on par to Kurt Angle's run in Impact Wrestling. It should be fun who steps up and challenges and feuds with Josh Alexander. Of course, we're probably going to get a rematch between Moose and Josh Alexander on an Impact, but it's interesting who's going to be go after Josh Alexander. I'm actually thinking right now it might be Jonah that might go after the world title for Josh Alexander. I think that's who it might be, but we'll see. But overall, I mean, this pay-per-view, like I said, if one takeaway from this is, or a few takeaways from this, one, if they would have switched the Jay White, Sabin Macklin match with the 18 elimination match for the Impact Tag Team titles, that would have made a little bit more sense. Because it did seem like there was more, the action that happened in the tag team match was fit more for an opening match than a match that's, third, 3 matches or 2 matches before the main event. Like, I don't know, that's pretty weird, but it was a good pay-per-view. Again, Saturday night, of course the weather's nice and everything, and well, here in Chicago it's really nice. I don't know where you guys are at, but it's nice in Chicago, so it's, if you want to chill, relax, crack open the window, let a nice breeze in, and enjoy some professional wrestling, this was a pay-per-view to watch. But, again, one of the big things that come out of this, and this is not taken away from Josh Alexander winning the world title or anything, but Bullet Club and Honor No More, where is this going? Honor No More, they picked up victories. They screwed the Good Brothers out of the titles. Eddie Edwards, he beat Chris Bay. Where is this going? Because like I said, Bullet Club's been losing a lot. Honor No More, they're pretty much the strongest heel faction in Impact Wrestling. We just got to wait and see. Is someone from Honor No More going to challenge Josh Alexander for the title, along with Jonah, who I believe is going to be one of the contenders? There's a lot of questions heading into this Thursday's Impact Wrestling, but it's good questions, and it's intriguing, and it's fresh. I'm excited to see what's going to happen on Thursday. Where is this going to go? Who's going to challenge Josh Alexander? Honor No More, Bullet Club, Ace Austin, new champ, Deonna Perazza. Where's that whole thing going to go with the ROH championship? Ty Valkyrie is the new AAA Reign of the Reigns champion. There's a lot of questions going on, but it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds this Thursday on Impact. So overall, good job, Impact Wrestling, of keeping your storyline solid, effective, intriguing, interesting. Like, this this right here, what we saw this Saturday night, was better than last year. And it's not to take away from the Kenny Omega and... Oh, man, who did Kenny Omega face? Was it Moose or Rick Swann? I think it was Rick Swann. Was it Rick Swann or Moose? I know Kenny Omega's match was one of the biggest drawing points of last year's Rebellion. But no, this is a 180 from where they were last year. This was a solid pay-per-view. So good job, Impact Wrestling. Can't wait for Thursday and see how all this unfolds, because this is going to be fun. Because it does factor into what's going on with New Japan and AEW and their Super Show, and just saying, gonna play out. But like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And like I always end every video, stop fighting over wrestling. There's so much wrestling going on. You got a choice. You got options. Enjoy. All right. With that,